My name is Alisha Collins. I grew up in India and moved to Boston, United States. For about 2-3 years, I am now here in Canada, in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My educational journey has been a bit complicated, I would say. In India, you only have 2 choices. If you're a boy, you can become engineer. If you're a girl, you're kind of tend to go to the medical field because engineering boys go through. So I was on that path and almost ready to head to the med school, but something didn't feel right and I chose to pursue design. And they call it Bachelor's of Science in Fashion Design because there's a lot of chemistry, textile design in play. And my mother is a fashion designer, so I followed that path as my undergrad journey. And that also still didn't feel quite right. So I found education as means to kind of serve my needs and serve others' needs who are kind of not so sure, still exploring. And that's why I chose to enter into the education and not just do more traditional teaching setting, but I was very fascinated by technology because I didn't get much chance to work with technology growing up. So I studied design and education. The whole idea was, how do you integrate design thinking into the education world, and especially with my focus on educational technology. But I was still navigating how to support students as well as teachers as kind of like a teaching assistant and research associate to explore how teachers navigate these technologies. And what I discovered, there was a lot of fear among teachers, not necessarily as much among young students, to explore technology because that's not something they grew up with. And that's when it became my passion. How do you empower teachers to pursue more technological skills? And then I went to MIT at Lifelong Kindergarten Group. Very amazing place, developed Scratch, Makey, and other technologies. I came to get involved with Brilliant Labs almost 5-6 years ago. I was presenting at Learning and the Brain conference, and the executive director of Brilliant Labs, Jeff Wilson, and Jacob Langley, who was working with Brilliant Labs at the time, together after my session, they invited me to lead a professional development training for about 40 teachers. Right before the pandemic, we were actually moving to Canada. My husband was doing his postdoctoral studies, and I reached out to the Brilliant Labs team again, and ever since then, I'm there. For me, exploratory hands-on activity is very, very important part of your creative journey. So there's so many levels of translation going on, right? You idea in your head, you're thinking about how to communicate it, but you're thinking about how to communicate that with hands-on materials. You're kind of bringing that idea into the world. So that hands-on exploration gives you that power to communicate your thinking, to contribute to the world. Brilliant Labs actually plays a very significant role in developing these hands-on exploratory skills. And not just to kind of serve the intellectual quotient, but also kind of the emotional needs of the students. And that's where I feel Brilliant Lab is very different than all the other organizations that's out there. Because as we are raising young generation, of course, skills matter. However, if you are focusing on young generation to be leaders of tomorrow, which Brilliant Lab really focuses on, they focus on innovation, they focus on the socially responsible entrepreneurial thing. And as we are inculcating these skills through our activities with the students, we hold a responsibility. And the students hold that responsibility as they grow into the world. What will they bring in? How their actions will impact or make a difference in the world. And I think that's a niche area that Brilliant Lab really hits on it, and it's very important. First, you're empowering students that your idea matters. You're bringing this innovation to the world. But there's also this critical lens to think about what you're doing. How does it impact the society? How does it impact the environment? How does it impact people in your life, your community, but also a larger community? So for me, Brilliant Lab is basically a journey that allows you to expand your inner self and then project that into the world to make a positive impact. They care about people within the community, and everybody else is super talented and very willing to support others.